Okay, and we are live. This is Out of the Box Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Andre, my co host, Bradley Powers. And we have here special guests, Donnie Lothridge and Nathan Walters with us tonight. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Doing well.
All right, that's good. How's everything over there across the pond there, Bradley?
Well, I'm keeping out of trouble, and like everything's very going pretty good, I guess.
And we got
Well,
Bloody Mary Paranormal with us. Hello, Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary, the language. Hi there, Bloody Mary. Thank you for joining us. Paranormal, eh? Wow. Isn't it strange when these shows delivered this show? It's always private. That's amazing.
Bill B says hello, guys.
Hi there, Bill B. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, so today we should be discussing a paranormal topic. That's a paranormal topic we should be discussing with Donnie and Nathan and Jim is psychic phenomena. Are people psychic? Is there such a thing as psychic? When you're psychic, are you blessed by Mother Nature with a paranormal gift making you psychic? Or is it possible that you're actually being the military are playing mind games with you, making you believe you are psychic? And the last one I've forgotten now is God, I'm not even reading this. I'm getting this off my head. Psychic phenomena. Yeah, or are psychic charlatans? You know? I actually don't. I believe there are charlatans out there that are psychic. Admittedly, you can't deny that. However, not all psychics are charlatans. Psychics have been blessed with a gift from Mother Nature, enhancing their pineal gland, opening their third eye, and making them psychic. That's what I believe. I myself am not a psychic as such, although I have experienced psychic phenomena myself, so I know it to be true and to be real. Jim's suggesting that psychic phenomena may be instigated by the military playing mind games with us, instigated by 5G even.
Well, now that you mentioned that, Donnie, you know for a fact there is a such thing that the military does have technology where they can initiate mind control. Is that right?
Yes, sir. There he is.
So that's been verified, Bradley. It's not whether I'm wondering or not. We have verification.
Yes. So the point is, does it apply to everybody? Yeah. So Donnie can verify this, that the military do play mind games with people, and they can cause one to believe they're psychic, and that's a fact, a statement of fact. Does this apply to all psychics or only some? How do you know if you're psychic or if you're being manipulated by the military?
Well, also, how would you know? Also, how would you know or have any clue that you're being possessed by a demon or a evil spirit to do something that you wouldn't normally do without you even realizing it? Now you believe that's possible, right, brother?
I know it is possible. It is possible. I know that for a fact. However, although I know it for a fact, is it possible that I'm delusional and I actually believe it to be true and it isn't? Is that a possibility? In my opinion, it's not. I believe that possession is real, and spiritual entities or the government can actually manipulate one's thoughts into performing tasks.
Right. I believe that's true. And I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also astrology, they claim, has a lot to do with what's in the stars, right? And they also say that the gravity of the moon can affect your mood too, right?
Yes.
So this leads to the question: if all these things are in fact true, how does religion, the concept of religion of being good and evil and having freedom of choice and being judged, play into all that?
How it's in a way, it's a bit like a game of roulette. Some people are lucky and they sail through life without any hindrance, or burdens. Some people are unfortunate or fortunate, whichever way you want to look at it. Some people are actually encounter paranormal phenomena. It could be a curse or it could be a blessing, and this paranormal phenomena affects their moods, their minds, their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, for the good or for the worse. And when you're crossover and you face Judgment Day, you maybe you judge yourself, or maybe you will be judged. But I believe all this is taken into consideration.
Well, you know, I think it's hard to say, you know, I believe in psychic abilities, and I do, but like, could I debate somebody that it's not mind control? That would be hard. I know that I've had experiences with both strange beings and what I perceive to be military personnel in different experiences. But in the times where I was experiencing the military personnel, I could tell a difference between what they were doing to me and what these non-human entities were doing. See, they can manipulate you, but they can't replicate what certain entities can do. And as far as like having premonitions and things like that, I think some people are just born naturally proficient at it. And then some people have an event that unlocks it. And I'm kind of one of those people who had an event that unlocked it. Or maybe I always had it and I ignored it.
Well, you know,
Because it
there's a lot
doesn't
of
help me
things.
make the world better, you know?
Right, right. But there's a lot of things in life that seem one way, but are not really that way, even though they appear to be. For an example, now I could do a card trick right now. If you guys would like me to do that, we can have maybe the viewers participate, have anybody in the chat room pick a card, and I can do a card trick if you would like to see that. Now, once I do the trick and all is said and done, you've seen what you've seen. But is it real? At the end of the day, if I pull that off, is it actually real?
Well, I mean, you're also getting into, I mean, what is real?
Exactly, what is real? What are we looking for? There is no one truth. There are millions of truths. The closest to the truth that anyone will come to within this lifetime is what each individual perceives as being their truth. Why does there need to be a truth? There doesn't have to be a truth. The bottom line is life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree that because I come from the philosophy that the earth is a school and we're here to learn things from our own experience.
The earth supports man, okay? The earth provides for our sustenance, for our survival. And in return, we don't treat her very well. We know better, but still we don't reciprocate. You know, we're one way. See, we have the attitude that the earth belongs to us, when in reality, man belongs to the earth.
The hardest school is the school of life on earth. What do you think, Donnie? Are you familiar with mind manipulation?
Yes, sir. Somewhat. In the spiritual realm, like what you were talking about before and asking about, in the spiritual realm, it comes as a gift. It just flows. And as mind control, you're driven. And I told that to my daughter, which is psychology, and she said you should never say the word driven, because serial killers all say they were driven to do it. And I said, well, on this thing I'm hooked to, if you're driven, you're not. Your thoughts are not are not like they're supposed to be. Like your mind is locked and set on one thing. And that's what you do. So we're in the spiritual realm. If you're operating in it, then it just flows like a wind. It feels comfortable. And at the same time it don't, because you realize what you're saying better happen if you're prophesying, or like you did, speak life into somebody's life, Bradley. So I mean, there's a big difference in it. Or
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
I think you have to use internal intuition to judge whether or not you're having any kind of psychic phenomena, and or any phenomena. I mean, like I never, until my awakening experiences, when I began to remember I was having experiences even into childhood and putting a lot of these pieces together, I doubted it the whole way, and I tried to find I tried to rationalize it, but natural information that comes from source, God, whatever you want to call it, it's not confusing.
Shan Gilms is with us. Hi, Shan.
Yeah, I'd like to put a shout out to Brian Parkway, Polk Ruwa, Scott McLennan is watching, Shane Gilms, sorry, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you near us. Shane Gilms says, these Dracos do things like make you hurt worse until you tell your mind it's not true, then try to overpower you when you're down. They're very mean. Now, she actually believes that's not the government, that is actually the Dracos doing this to her. I have an energy in me that I believe is a living entity. This is actually manipulating me every day. He talks to me using telepathy. He's a mind reader. And he has the ability to use telekinesis as well. I don't believe that's the government either.
Okay,
And plus
so,
my paranormal. Go on.
So you guys want me to do that card trick? We'll have a viewer pick a card, then we'll have a number, another viewer pick a number.
Okay. All right.
So what viewer you want to pick out of the ones we have here? What viewer you want to pick?
Shane Gilms.
All right, pick a card, Shan Gilms. Any card out of a deck, like clubs, spades, hearts, diamonds.
Yeah. Donnie, have you ever been possessed?
Not what I would say possessed. I've been oppressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah, oppressed. And you, Nathan?
I would say oppressed, like he's saying. I've had them attack me, but I've never had anything enter my body or try to control me in any way.
Shane Gilms picks the queen, Jim.
Queen of what?
Shane Gilms picks the queen because she is a queen.
Yeah, queen of what? What suit?
Shall I pick pick Queen of Hearts?
All right, you want the Queen of Hearts?
Oh, look, Shane says hearts too. Wow.
Okay, so you want the Queen of Hearts. All right. I got the deck right here. It's a regular deck of cards. Let me gather them up here. Okay, it's a regular deck. Okay, I'm going to shuffle them. Okay, I'm going to take these cards and I'm going to put them in my shirt pocket. Now, I'd like to have another viewer pick what number they want me to pull the Queen of Hearts out of my pocket on. Any number they want, 1 to 52.
Yeah, who wants to pick the number? Oh, we'll go with Shan. Shan's making a popular entry on this. Shan, pick a number of a card. No, not a number of a card. Pick a number.
Yeah, just pick a number you want me to pull the Queen of Hearts out of my pocket on.
Pick a number, Shan.
5? You
5.
said 5, right?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
1.
So on card number 5.
That's 1. 2. 3. 4. Now this should be the what? Queen of Hearts?
Yeah.
Fifth card, right?
Yes.
Queen of Hearts.
Now is that live or is that Memorex? At the end of the day, what is that?
That's magic. That's magic, Jim.
And
That's
this
not
is
an
a regular-
illusion.
And this is a regular deck of cards. There's nothing fishy about it.
That's not an illusion. It's real magic that occurred there.
This is the box that it comes in. So you think that's magic, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What would you do if I
Yeah.
told you it isn't?
Well, what could it be? Quantum mechanics?
That's for you to figure out.
Quantum mechanics?
Shan Gilm says. Shan Gilm says, "Why? Okay, you're gonna have to teach me that."
Uh, don't try this at home. Uh-huh. Yay. Oh, thank you. Sherry's in the house. Whoop, whoop. I'll be in touch with you the weekend, Sherry. Guaranteed. Thank you for joining us. Yes, please tune into Sherry's network. Today we're discussing paranormal phenomena. Jim's just shown us a little piece of magic, that's what I would call it, or quantum mechanics even. And we're discussing, is psychic phenomena real?
But the
Is it
point-
mind
the point I'm trying-
manipulation?
Point I'm trying to make, Bradley, it's neither. It's neither magic nor what you said. See that?
Well, I
To make
use,
It's a trick. It's a trick that you can't figure out.
yeah, which would fall into the category of magic. It's not an illusion because it really happened.
Well, no, it's not an illusion, but there's a trick to it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's magic or that I'm psychic. You see, that I'm trying to put a point across to you.
I think when it comes down, I debate this with myself in terms of things that have happened in my life. I will have. I got a lot of deja vu from about the period of 2013 till about 2017. Probably every day. Probably all, good portions of the day, I was in a state of deja vu. And I could trace it to where it was trying to show me things about my past. Because it felt like I was sending a signal to myself. I think there is actually a quantum thing going on when you have a premonition.
So you were trying to send a signal to yourself from another place in another time. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think, but maybe not even. Maybe sometimes you get a signal from your future self, or maybe sometimes you get one from. I mean, what is a memory? You know, it's
Well,
more like
what about deja vu?
in a situation, and I would be able to tell when I had seen it before.
Well, you must have experienced deja vu, right?
Yeah,
I think we all do at one time or another.
yeah. But it was kind of scary because it was happening frequently, and it was very persistent.
Yeah, deja vu is something that I've experienced a lot in my life, and you wonder, like, I've been here before. Or
Right,
how do I
exactly.
really
And
know?
I'm a firm believer that we've lived many lives. It's a never-ending, continuous recycling process.
Who do you think's behind it?
Nature. All we talk
Nature.
about, all that happens within this dimension has got to do with nature. That's man's problem. See, he doesn't even think of nature. He just thinks of controlling nature. That's it. He thinks he's the best. He's the top of the food chain. He can just run wild, do whatever he wants, and have no respect for nature itself. He can't even respect himself. How's he going to show any respect for nature?
Well,
I've always, yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I've just always felt a connection to the higher spheres, I guess, space itself, more than I have the earth. I was always, I always told people my idea of heaven would be just float through the cosmos forever unhindered.
Well, after my death, I felt like I was living a life I'd already lived.
Right.
That
I've
everything,
definitely felt that
it's like
way.
a
Yeah.
parallel world that I stepped over in and then stepped back in this one.
Shan Gilbs is saying, I have a question, guys. Okay, what is the question, Shan? She says, nature is God. To me, too. Yes, that's the extent of God is nature. An essence, an energy source that makes all things possible. It's the energy that moves you, your consciousness, and the air that you breathe. That's God. And you're here on a journey. What you choose, what path you choose to take, and what type of journey you want to experience is up to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think somebody picked the one that I'm on.
I mean, the bottom line is we're all in this together. We're reflections of each other, each experiencing a unique experience of our own. That's the only thing that's different is the journey and the experience itself.
Yeah. That's why it's so important for everybody to share their experiences, whether they be paranormal or just day to day. I mean, you have the more people talk about things, the more we understand them a little bit.
Maybe Donnie or Bradley can answer this question. Shan Gilms is asking, are we seers? Are we connected because we see?
Are we seers? We're all psychic. We are all seers. However, because of the way of our upbringing, we've been brainwashed at birth, manipulated, if you like. We lose our path, lose our direction. Plus, the fluoride in the water crystallizes our pineal gland, making it invalid to work. Therefore, it actually affects us. Yet some of us shine through, amazingly. Some of us do conquer all. Like when I went to infant school, junior school, and I did really well. I was in A1 class in junior and infant school. In my high school, I never attended high school whatsoever. I lost all 5 years of high school, and yet by losing those 5 years, I am in the present day situation I'm in now, where I recognise paranormal phenomena. It's possible that people who don't conform with society and go to school regular do actually become misfits of life, and they do actually encounter paranormal phenomena. You know, that's possible.
Shan Gilms is saying, I'm demanding my life back. I'm unthinking them. They can't create.
Yeah, I understand your dilemma, Shan, and like there's a will, there's a way, and there is a method to get rid of.
Christopher Gibbons says, I send myself information from the future.
I definitely feel like I've gotten like if you were having a psychic premonition, how would that actually work? Well, you might actually see where you were at that point in the future. So you might see what's on the television, you might see what's happening in the street, you might see your surroundings more, and that might be your sensory input. And I get that a lot. I got that a lot when I was a kid from myself, from some source that seemed to know where I was going to end up.
Christopher Gibbons says time is circular, not a straight line.
That's
And
right, and
that's right, and I agree with that because that's what the recycling process is all about. It's a never-ending recycling process.
And a circle has no beginning and no end, just like the universe has no beginning and no end. The universe wasn't created. The universe always is, always was, and always will be. That's what the occult says.
So then that should throw the notion of a creator out the window then, right? Because it always was,
Yeah,
is, and always will be.
There was a time when Earth didn't exist in the universe. So what is the universe?
Well, the thing is, one law of nature itself is that nothing lasts forever. And nature's way of compensating for that is to exist in cycles. So obviously the earth wasn't here at one time, and let it be known that it won't be here forever either.
Well, that's true, but there's also the physical principle that nothing can energy can't be destroyed.
Exactly. But the human body that the energy moves is not going to last forever. So like I said, nature's way of compensating for that. Even though the energy will survive, the body won't. Our avatar that we see right now will no longer be here in the end. It'll transform to another place, another time, another dimension, another form. That's the recycling process. And the reason for the recycling process is because within nature, nothing lasts forever to begin with, except the energy itself that makes all of nature possible. That's the essence, the source.
I have closed my eyelids and they have become a screen, and I've seen writing, visions, images. When I close my eyelids, they become a screen. That's psychic as well,
Yeah, you asked me about that last time, and yeah, when I was younger, when I closed my eyes, yes, I would have what you're talking about. Yeah.
Christopher Gibbons says God is a hard concept thing to define.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
To define is difficult. The only thing that defines God is Bible or experiences that people have had. Some people have encountered Jesus Christ.
Shan Gilm says the positive ETs say God is an all-loving source, not a man. Most of the Bible is the Anunnaki that made us worship them.
That's feasible, plausible.
Well,
I like your smoking. Yeah.
Anymore, what I look at is not one text from the past. I look at all of the texts from the past, and I try to see where things add up from different places. So there
But
are things I do believe happened, and then I believe different people interpret it differently, and that's why you have variation.
But you also have to realize too, the more research you do and the more different concepts you conjure up, the more confusing it can be.
Well, that's very true, but I don't think it's as simple as Occam Razor in reality anyway. I think it's
if we were to stick, if we weren't so busy wondering about the unknown, right, and stick just to the earthly facts, right? We're born, we live, we die, which is a hard truth to swallow. You want there to be some more magical, mystical, outlet to that, so that the facts, you don't want to accept those facts, even though they're right before you. And the facts that I'm stating right now have to do with the here and now, the moment. And from birth to death, all we ever have is the moment that we're in. The past continually fleets by. The future never arrives. So all we have is right now, what we have, what we're doing right now, the here and the now. Okay, and that's where all the problems of the world lie, is the here and now. Okay, we can debate till the cows come home, whether there's a God, whether there isn't, whether there's spirits, whether there's mind control, whether there's this, that, where we come from, where we're going to go when we leave here. That's got nothing to do with solving the problem that we're trying to solve. Absolutely nothing.
Well, you're the one who said that life is not a problem to be solved.
To solve a problem, you have to nip it at the bud. So while we're distracted, see, we're taking our minds off the actual problem and wasting our brains instead of trying to figure out what to do with this problem that we're experiencing right now. We run amok. We're distracted with other things that really don't mean anything to the problem that we're experiencing. So instead of taking all that energy and try to conjure up a spirit from another dimension, or get a hold of Merlin, or do this or do that, why don't we just physically stay in the realm we're in this moment, the here and now, where the problem lies, and try to figure out a solution?
Well, I mean, I think that the only way to do that is to get everybody on the same page again.
Well, the thing is, see, most people are comfortable being followers. They don't want the responsibility of being leaders. So number one, that makes the masses easily led and manipulated. Okay. So as long as they keep feeling that way, and it seems as though, I hate to say this, that the majority of the masses don't even possess common sense. Like I said, the hardest pill of all to swallow is the truth. So you go somewhere else with it. So you don't have to swallow that pill. But the truth is always going to be there.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to do commercial, Jim.
Well,
Yeah,
I like your
we
smoking
should do a
jacket, Ronnie.
do what, sir?
I like your smoking jacket.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
If what is being done
Okay, we're
Or-
back.
Welcome to the Smokers Club.
what I was saying before we went to commercial, if what's being used on me is being used on the rest of the world, all we will be is followers. I mean, because there's no way out of it because of the manipulation that goes on. I mean,
Well, I mean, just you know, the power actually lies with the masses. Okay, the 95%. That's where all the power lies. But in order to flex that muscle, we got to come together as a collective, and that'll never happen. I mean, it's as easy as that, and it'll never happen. You know why? Because the majority are too brainwashed and too distracted to even come to the reality that's what's needed to be done. It'll never happen. It's
people
that
are
simple,
coming.
but yet it will never happen. And the 1% know that. That's why they've been getting away with doing what they've been doing for thousands of years. And it'll never change.
If religion can form a collective, then I'm sure like-minded people who have open minds.
Religion itself has been around for thousands of years. And since its concept, the world is becoming worse and worse and worse. The world is in the worst state it's ever been in today. So obviously, religion is not the answer.
I was admin to 500,000 people, and they were like-minded.
And when you put your faith into one man, that's a cult leader. That's not the answer either. Look at Jim Jones. I mean, you want to talk about religion? Sure, it's done a lot of good, but there's been a lot of negativity as well.
Yeah,
that hasn't been the answer for thousands of years, and it never will be.
yeah.
No, but in the way that people need a thing. You know, people do.
Well, why do they need it? Why don't they just?
Well, people have been debating that since the beginning of time. But
you know, people pray they want this, they want that, right? But I would think that even if there is a God, the good Lord will help those who want to help themselves. So if we don't help ourselves, who then is going to help us?
People like me, I actually view myself, when there's 500,000 members, I didn't see myself as a cult leader, more like a shepherd leading a flock into awareness of recognizing
Jesus.
reality.
You know, Jesus was profound. Jesus had a big following, you know. I mean, he was here on a mission. He even sacrificed himself.
Yeah.
But that question remains. Since his arrival, the worst the world's ever been in is now after his arrival. So you'd have to question whether or not his appearance was in vain.
Yeah.
no, because what he started has been going on, and he died for his kingdom to start with. To be a king, he died. He died to start his kingdom.
You know, I asked Bradley the other day, right, because he's for world peace and all that. I asked him the other day, Bradley, if you could wave your hand, just go like this, stop all the suffering, and make this a much better world to live in, would you do that? Right away, no hesitation. Yes, I would. So if God and Jesus can do that, and Jesus even went to the extent of self-crucifixion to prove a point, why do they continue just sitting back watching all the suffering instead of ending it?
Is it possible that when they held those angels, those fallen angels out of heaven, they fell to earth, this realm? This is Lucifer's realm, not God's realm. And there are people worshipping God in Lucifer's realm. And this is the chaos realm. This is Lucifer's realm.
You see, that's the greatest thing about the brainwashing they've done, is the separation that you're talking about. That's the biggest deception. That's what drives you the most crazy. That's what tears you this way and that way. You're never going to go the right path because you're trying to go and wonder about two paths at once.
I walk the middle path myself. There's good and bad in light and dark. I recognise that. You know, I walk down the middle. I neither praise nor worship any god or
But,
deity.
but there's not only good and bad in man. You can have a beautiful day one day and an earthquake the next. It's just nature. It's got nothing to do with gods and demons.
Gods and demons are real. They do exist.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, they're real to you, maybe.
Yeah, I've experienced them. If you don't know, then you don't know. If you've never experienced,
Well,
if
yeah,
you've never
you
encountered a
possibly-
god, a deity,
You've possibly experienced them. You've possibly experienced them through mind control, which you say, and Donnie verifies that it's factual, right? So how do you know? How do you know you're experiencing that, or it's something they want you to think you're experiencing?
because
know?
there would be motive. What's the
Yeah, right.
motive?
What's the motive to confuse you even more than what you're confused to begin with? That's the motive.
I'm not confused, to be honest.
Well, of course not. Not to you, you're not. But in reality, you have no way of telling.
But we're all spiritual beings. And just like you said, there's a positive and a negative.
Right. But that holds true for all species. All other species don't deal with that problem. They get along fine. Perfect harmony
Also-
with nature. Well, all species get along perfectly fine in perfect harmony within nature, except for man, due to his higher intelligence and the concepts between good and evil, right and wrong, gods, devils. That's the problem.
Well, there's
You see,
also the problem that whether you want to put the labels on them of gods or demons or angels or aliens or
Why do we
fairies.
need that? Why do
I'm
we
not
need
saying
that?
we.
Why?
I'm not saying we need it, but it's there.
Well, of course, it's been there for the last how many thousands of years? The
Tag
concept
word.
has been there. The
That's tag
concept,
word.
yes, of course. You were
Well, what
born
I'm
into
saying
that
is
society. You were born
There's
and
something
groomed.
that lives into
were born-
these.
You were born, indoctrinated, and groomed into that society. So why would you not think it's true? I agree
Well, I mean,
with you. I agree with your point, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth.
Well, my experiences, like I said, they're my experiences. They're all real. There's no. I know God is real. I know
Well, of
Jesus
course,
Christ.
and we're going to go back to what we were talking about before. Whereas if there is mind control, of course, to you it's going to be real, right? It's controlling your
Well,
mind.
well, I mean,
No, it's more than just in my mind, but there's a lot.
I
Also-
think you would have to take into consideration where they're at with mind control. And
Yes.
you'd have to take into consideration the population and who they're going to target, why.
So do you think it would help if we all wore tin hats? Would that be helpful?
That is why they were doing that. They were worried about signals.
Yeah.
This is the tin hat we caught from the outside. And yeah, as you see, Donnie, if you've never encountered a ghost or a spiritual entity, how are you expected to believe they actually exist? And that's where we're at with Jim. He's never encountered spiritual entities or ghosts, you know. And also,
Shan
there's
Jones-
another
Shan
feeling of
Jones.
divinity. You
Shan
divine,
Jones.
like when you meet an angel are feeling divine. You know,
Shan Jones says, "I agree, Jim."
yeah, feeling divine. You can't put it all down to
What is
manipulation from the government.
what is divine? What is divine? What is holy? The Pope is considered holy. He's a mortal being. How could he possibly be holy? But yet, everybody looks at him as being holy, divine. But he's no better of a man than any other man that walked the face of the earth. In all reality.
That's the reason why it's in a personal relationship between you and God.
Yeah, I don't view the Pope as godly, to be honest with
Yeah, I wasn't raised in the church at all.
you. I'm more
Well, I
godly
mean,
than the
but that's what they teach you and want you to believe through all this brainwashing process, right?
But then why do they have a
So,
war
so
on
how many
religion at the
so how
same
many
time?
people are out there? So how many people are out there believing that? Millions.
I'm more godly than the Pope. I've encountered angels on 4 separate occasions. I bet he's never seen an angel in his life. He believes they exist, however, I've actually seen them and he hasn't. So I'm more godly than the Pope. But I'm not going to promote that fact. I've got my own things to do, my own business to take care of. Yeah, the Pope, I don't see the Pope as godly at all, to be honest with you. And there's a black Pope and there's a white Pope. I mean, what's that all about? A white Pope's upstairs and the black Pope's downstairs. What's the black Pope up to? It's possible that he's more powerful than the white Pope, you know.
Well, that's
But
ebony and
then,
ivory. That's ebony and ivory. That's why all the keys on the pianos are black and white.
Yeah.
In perfect harmony.
did you know, Donny, that there's a black and a white Pope?
I didn't know that. No.
So you learn something new every day on this show. Yeah, there is, and the black Pope is probably more powerful than the white Pope. I would say he is, to be honest.
Well, I do respect them for the positions that they hold.
Yeah.
So
And when
the black pope is in the Vatican as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, downstairs.
And how come nobody sees him? What does he do? Stay in the dark room?
He stays in the dark room. That's right. He comes out sweating. No one knows what he's doing. No, I'm only joking. No, that's rude to say that. I shouldn't say that.
All you see is the whites of his eyes. Is that it?
There is a black Pope. Yeah, that's not discussed or talked about, to be honest with you. Yeah, and also, as you notice, when they choose a pope, it's always someone who ain't got long to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pick someone younger, but they think older is wiser. Well, that's not actually true. With age comes wisdom. Well, that's not actually true because a lot of adults are children in adults' bodies. You know.
I don't know. You know, some of us age like a fine wine, I guess.
Yeah, a mature cheese. Yeah.
But I think a lot of that's grounded in back to the paranormal and stuff. Children are more perceptive to what's out there than grown-ups are a lot of times.
That's right. Agreed. Especially when they hit puberty, between age 12 and 13, a lot of children become psychic, you know. And there's also a psychic bond between mother and daughter, mother and son.
Yeah, and there's also been cases of psychic bonding between twins.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Where they've married this person with the same name, got a similar job, live in a similar town. Amazing. That's amazing.
So with that card trick, you might think that there was some kind of psychic element involved with that card trick that I showed you. Now, possibly there is, possibly there isn't. That's up to you to determine what you think about it. See, there's different ways of looking at things, different concepts, different angles.
I was teaching a truck driver class in college, and I had them stop. I said, one of my family members is fixing to be in an accident. Y'all just get ready to go on break. And when my phone rang, I said, there it is. And I picked it up. And my daughter's been in a wreck. She was crying and carrying on. I said,
Well,
I'll be right there.
That happened to me one time. I used to train school bus drivers. And I had this overwhelming feeling that something wasn't right during one of the training classes. And I got a phone call, you know, from my girl at the time that my best friend Jack had passed away.
I jumped into a 7.5-ton lorry once without training and drove it 500 miles. That was, and that's the size of a bus, only like taller. Well, like the size of a double-decker bus, basically. Yeah, I just jumped in the bus without even being trained. Like,
yeah.
You know.
And then what happened?
Yeah, like no accidents. Yes, I drove it 500 miles. I drove it 250, picked up a load of my goods from our house, a location, and moved it to Wales in a lorry. Like I've never driven before in my life. I didn't know I could drive a lorry, but I can. 7.5-ton
They
lorry.
have,
Big lorry.
They have them double deckers out there, don't they?
Yeah, double deckers. Yeah, we got them a lot. Yeah, especially the red ones. Yeah.
We've got some here in America now too.
Really?
Yeah.
No double deckers in America. Yeah. We even have open top convertible double deckers over here in the summer. And we used to have red telephone boxes. Do you remember them? Did you ever get them over there? Red telephone. And
well, we had
red
telephone
post
booths.
boxes. Yeah,
we had
telephone.
Telephone booths are gone. That's why it's hard to watch movies from the 90s.
Those are things of the past. Yep.
And red post boxes, red pillow boxes, they were called.
We have a
David
Facebook
Silver.
user here. Says, hey, there, Bradley Powers.
Oh, hi there.
It's also good to see you, Nathan Walters. We
Thank
have
you.
no idea who it is. It just says Facebook user.
And David Sutherland says some people age like milk, though some curdle over time. Yeah, they do. I guess that's very true. Right? Some people curdle. I'm in excellent shape for my age, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Plus, I do boxes. That makes me hard as well. No, I'm only joking. I'm quite soft, really. I've gone soft in my old age, to be honest with you. Do you partake in any sports, Nathan and Donny?
No.
No. No activities?
I'm more of a music buff. I like listening to music and trying to write my own. And
Really? You're a writer, songwriter. You can write. Can you write? Quave the treble clef. That's my sigil. Is the treble clef. When I cross over, if you tune into the treble clef, you should gain access to me from the next life. The treble clef is the beginning of a symphony, which you are probably familiar with. Can you write quavers and octaves and notes?
no, nothing that fancy. I just play with synthesizers. That's really all it comes down to.
Hi, Marin
Yeah,
Thompson. Thank you for joining us. And
Yeah,
I play the
Facebook
drums.
user is Marin. Hi, Marin.
Hi, Marin. I'm a drummer. I play a 10-piece drum kit, or I used to, not anymore.
Well,
Not
someday, Bradley gonna have to come on alive here and do Wipeout for us.
Yeah. I was actually like forced to move because I was such a noisy neighbour playing the drums and my music really loud. I was forced to move. There was a petition to get rid of me, get me out of the area. Yeah, I know. I am a very noisy neighbour, I've got to be honest. You know. It's hard to be quiet when you play the drums. You know?
So you were a drummer ruining their eardrums. Is that it?
Yeah, I was. And yeah, shamans love drums and I love drums. You know.
Yeah.
Do you play an instrument, Donny?
No, sir, I don't.
Do you play the triangle? Yeah. Yeah, life.
You know what's a nice. You know what's a pretty instrument is the harp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can play the piano, you can play any instrument. I wish I did learn to play the piano. Mind you, the synthesizer is like a piano, isn't it?
It is, but you have to know how to program them too. And I'm better at that than I am playing the piano. I'll just say that. But so I try to keep it kind of simple, EBM, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have kin people, they all play musical instruments, but I don't play them.
I've seen Johnny Cash live on stage. I see Johnny Cash. He come over to England. I couldn't believe it. Like I was honoured and blessed with seeing Johnny Cash. I think Carl Perkins was on guitar, and I see June Carter and the Carter family. Yeah, couldn't believe it. Well, what a
Cool.
surprise.
Carl Perkins is cool by himself.
Yeah, yeah. Carl Perkins was one of the $1 Million Quartet, along with Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, and who was the fourth one? Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah, $1 Million Quartet.
Yes, sir.
I just know him from the Beatles because the Beatles covered were big fans and covered his songs occasionally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis, he used to do the thing for the children, didn't he? He'd have his marathon one time a year.
Yeah, Jerry's kids. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, Jerry Lewis was my favourite actually. I loved him on the piano.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then you had old Blue Eyes there, Frank Sinatra.
yes,
Yeah, connected to the mafia, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Well, they
Yeah.
were one click there. They call them the Pack Rat, right? Or the Rat Pack.
Yeah. Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr.
Dean Martin, yeah. Sammy Davis Jr., yeah. Frank Sinatra, Jerry Lewis.
And
Yes,
Jerry
sir.
Lewis. That's right, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Wow. Well, we're coming to the end. It's up to you if you want to carry on, Jim, and it's up to you.
Well, it's up to these guys if they want to stay longer. I guess it's okay. You guys want to stay on for a while, or
I can.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. Hi there, Karen Cox. Thank you for joining us. Christopher Gibbons, Shane Gilms, Joyce Kerr. Thank you, everyone, for Christopher. Yeah, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Pleasure to have you near us. Scott McLennan, Brighton Parkway, Parkway. Thank you. Yeah, so like, yeah, you got some valid points, Jim. Although, like, if you've never seen a ghost or spiritual entity, how are you expected to believe they exist?
Well, how do I know? How do I know that I haven't been possessed by mind control, where somebody else has seen it through mind control and I haven't? I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't answer that question.
Some people have said to me, "How comes you've been chosen to witness paranormal phenomena and I haven't?" And that's a good point. And it's obviously because I have been chosen, but why I do not know.
Yeah, but have you been
I feel that
chosen?
way.
Have you been chosen through mind control or chosen how? See, we don't know.
I don't think the government have got any interest in me. Like, I'm not relevant.
Well,
They would choose
no, they
people
don't.
who are
They
affluent.
don't. The bottom line is they don't have interest in any of us. All they want to do is scramble our brains, and they're good at what they do.
5G is a mind scrambler. Yeah.
Well, it comes back to control and all that other kind of stuff. One world government, what we're heading into.
Yeah.
So if they control everybody, then
Yeah,
ain't got
and
no
you know what's tough today is historically every great society that has risen has fallen. It's a
It has.
recurrence that happens without fail. Our current day society is not going to be any different. The only difference there'll be is in how it falls and with what intensity. And today we're up against as you see, years ago, you could rise up and overthrow a kingdom. You had a target. But today we're fighting an invisible enemy.
That's right.
An invisible enemy that's spread worldwide.
That's right.
So the only way that this can be corrected is if we concentrate on the here and now and the masses come together as a collective. It's so easy, but yet so hard. Because the masses are so brainwashed.
Well, I mean, the problem is that we ride a lot of wave. We're riding like so many waves that haven't crested. I mean, there are different levels of things that are trying
to and there's a final wave. Believe me when I tell you that. There's a final wave. And we're just about riding on that final wave that's going to be crested. Probably within our lifetime.
You okay, Paul?
because things like the Kennedy assassination. I wasn't alive for that, but it's still affecting the world today.
Well, Kennedy was for the people. See, he didn't want to go with the rest of the 1%. In other words, most presidents and world government leaders are puppets on a string. He didn't want to play their game. So he was passionate. He was compassionate. He had feelings for the people that he represented as a president, as a presidential being running a country. See, so he didn't want to, agree to the program, and that's what they do. Even Jesus himself got crucified because the Romans felt threatened that he was gaining too much power, and he would gain control. All right. So no matter who you are, how much you try to do the right thing, if you get too big and you get too many followers and you're going to ruin their agenda, if they could crucify Jesus, they ain't got no worries or problems eliminating you in thousands of different ways.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I think one thing people are going to have to do is they're going to have to realize that there will be people who don't make it in this lifetime. And they're going to have to work through that.
Well, everything now's got a price tag on it. It don't matter what it is.
Yeah. Facebook crucified me. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Marin Thompson is saying, I've heard on a freedom movement group on Telegram that the American Supreme Court is considering bringing Trump back to the White House before the 2024 election. Biden may be out on his arse soon.
Yes, I was actually mentioning that earlier because the polls and the votes was all fixed and contaminated. And
Well, that's obvious. I mean, that's obvious, but that's. I mean, around 11 o'clock at night on election night, Trump was, I don't know how many millions of votes ahead of Biden. Then when you wake up the next morning, suddenly Biden had this rush of winning votes, So, I mean,
yeah,
that within itself is suspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they held it for so long before they ever come out
we
and
see
who actually won.
And we can all see what a great job Biden is doing, right?
what do you think, Donnie? Trump or Biden?
Honestly,
Yeah, go on,
I
go
think
for it.
Trump was moved out of the way because the way the world wanted to go, or
Of course,
whoever was running the thing wanted to be moved, and that's what they done. And then they put in who they wanted, and I believe even if he comes back, he won't be able to straighten it out.
Because Trump was like Kennedy. He didn't want to play the game.
That's
He
right.
wanted to do things. He wanted to do things his way.
Mm-hmm.
They were on that guy since he took the oath of office, the first day. They were blaming him for Russian collusion. They impeached him twice. And that man did an excellent job running the country under the pressure of them conditions. So you got to give the man credit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And he smashed a paedophile ring, Epstein Island. Other
Yeah.
presidents could have done that, but he did.
And he assassinated a terrorist with a drone.
Yeah, I seen where they wanted to bring him up on charges. I told them guys working that was exercising their little cars on Bragg. I said, if I ever see one of these things coming down the street, I'm definitely parking my car and getting out running.
Yeah, they got him. It was at an airport, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
Well, I don't know.
I think it was at an airport. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Biden's delusional. He's suffering with mental illness as well. And it's very sad. It goes to show you that anybody can be a president, doesn't it, of the United States?
He's the only president I've seen falling upstairs when boarding an airplane.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said I believe
on numerous occasions.
And he liked keeping children's hair. Hi there, Donnie Randall. Thank you for joining us.
You read that, Bradley Marin Thompson.
The other piece of good news is Trump is still a human being, unlike the rest of most of the politicians around him. Sold out their souls, literally. Thank you for sharing that, Marin.
Come on.
Yeah.
Renee Cruz says UFOs.
UFOs. UFOs showed up in mass when we started playing with nukes.
That's another thing that we're going to have to be aware of in the near future is a false flag alien invasion. That's coming. That's going to be part of their agenda. That's why they're coming out with all these objects. They don't know what they are that they're shooting out of the sky. It's impossible that they don't know what they are because we've got an extra branch of the military now called Space Force with all this technology that they brag about, that they guard the outer space of Earth and all the airspace around the world. How can they not know what they're shooting down? And plus the narrative itself from multi-news outlets is all the same, practically word for word, like they're reading off a script. They're just telling us what they want us to believe. Now, if that's not deception, nothing is.
Yes, sir.
They made a film about a triangle flying saucer appearing in Wales. They made a film about it, I believe. And the answer to that is it's not a UFO, it's a TR-3B. TR-3B are triangular shaped UFOs belonging to the American military. So it's not a UFO.
Marin Thompson says Biden isn't Biden. It's a clone that has badly malfunctioned.
I thought that about Hillary when she was running. But I've always thought a lot of the politics, man, it's theater, it's theater for ugly people.
Now if it came to light that Biden actually had clones, say he had like 5 or 6 clones, and this came into the light, right? And he were persecuted for crimes against humanity at any given point, they would be forced to what? Execute all the clones, right? The 5 of them, because they have no way of knowing which one is Biden and which one isn't.
The most in this country, unfortunately, she wrecked the country to a degree, privatized the country, was Margaret Thatcher. We haven't had someone stern, solid, and powerful as Margaret Thatcher for a long time. And she privatized everything in this country.
See, and Marin Thompson says Dr. Stephen Greer talked about Project Bluebeam, hologram technology, false flags. Yep. I've been saying that right along myself. Bradley will tell you that. I've been saying that for the last couple of years.
Of course, Stephen Greer also says there are no such thing as alien abduction, that it's all military projects.
He needs to be abducted.
I agree with you.
That weren't no military project I was in on.
No, I've definitely seen things I don't think were military. In fact, that's why I tend not to think the military is as powerful as some people think it is.
But that's what we're going up against today, is that military-industrial complex. And that's what we warned about years ago by Eisenhower. I believe it was President Eisenhower that warned us about that.
Yeah.
Yes. But they are using space alien technology on us. So.
Well, it was Eisenhower that supposedly met with extraterrestrials at, I believe it was Malmstrom Air Force Base. But I might be wrong.
You know, Eisenhower's granddaughter, Laura Eisenhower, she's a big UFO researcher.
Yeah, I've seen her on a number of shows.
What was that big thing?
And she knows because her grandfather was president, so she's got all that information. So there's got to be a reason why she's going down that road and pursuing it. There's got to be some truth to it.
Yes, sir. Well, if they can do holograms, they can do anything they want to with them satellites that's up there.
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to show it. You're going to swear that you see alien craft in the sky firing weapons, when in reality, the weapons themselves will be being fired by the military.
Yes, sir.
So they can do whatever they want, kill as many people as they want. And the majority of people believe it wasn't, our own government that did it, but the aliens themselves, which could be the furthest thing from the truth.
And this will cause the people to embrace the military. The military will get extra funding as well.
Marin Thomas says Eisenhower's granddaughter has talked about her grandfather and sung him out.
Thank
Yeah.
you for sharing.
Yeah. But there's a lot to it. So
Yeah. All those post-war presidents, man, they're the ones that made the secrecy. They built the national security apparatus that we have today.
Well, it goes deeper than that, though. There's so many black op projects and programs that, even the presidents themselves don't know about.
yeah.
Right. There's a researcher named Catherine Austin Fitts, and that's what she investigates is the black budget.
The black budget. Yeah, I know.
She was HUD secretary under Clinton. And she noticed, she calls it the missing 10 trillion that's going into black budgets all across the black budget world.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, because you have to take into consideration as well. Shaman have been around for millennia, and and they were tuned into their ancestral, their spiritual ancestors, and they received messages predicting the future, premonitions. These were shaman, and technology was very primitive back then. So it begs the question: how did the shaman receive their information, which would have been psychically from spirits, because the technology would have been at its minimum, really.
Although there's always that element of psychedelic use in shamanism, and that seems to enhance your chances of having a very profound religious experience or spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Well, there's been studies that indicate that technology has been found from thousands of years ago that's almost duplicated our current day technology, which is a possibility.
Yeah.
Maybe back then we were going through the same thing. And then 95 of the world population at that time, 95% was eliminated, and it started all over again.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Because allegedly, we're not the first wave of human beings to actually exist. The first wave may have been psychic, telepathic. They may have, like they say, Adam and Eve could levitate in the Garden of Eden. So, maybe we were blessed with paranormal gifts in the beginning. The first wave was mankind, and actually that changed that because we were too intelligent and too dangerous.
Well, there's been a few cases where people have been able to levitate.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that. Levitation is real. Yeah, absolutely. Not for everyone, obviously. Some people can levitate. You either know or you don't know. You can or you can't. Okay. Well, it's been a good show, Jim. And it's the wrong time of viewing, to be honest with you. Normally we peak around about 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So, basically. Past people's bedtime. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we can wrap it up.
It's been a pleasure having you here, Donnie, on the show. Donnie Lothridge and Nathan Waters, thank you for joining us. Donnie, would you like to promote your book? Donnie has written a book called
Bandit and Outlaw Forgot.
Okay.
And it is on Amazon and ebook and Barnes and Noble stores. And my publisher is Rose Dog Publication. So
I'm going to see if I can hook you up with Jesse Howell. He's got a bigger podcast. Let's see if we can hook you up with him. That's what I'm going to try and do.
Yeah, his show is called The Missing Link. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well,
you don't have to. When I end the show, you can stay on in the studio if you want. You don't have to hang up right away.
Yeah, it's up to you, Donnie.
If you guys want to hang in there for a few minutes.
All right.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, sir.